Yeah, all right, Kings. I want to make sure that, like, I thought about this because it has been so randomly or regularly. I'm only speaking for me, but I think the general outlook on the Kings has been negative. Negative in the sense of, positive is they'll make noise in the playoffs. My general outlook, I think the over-under on wins is like 37.5. This is going to be a 500-ish team, give or take a couple of games. And their ceiling is maybe getting into the first round and losing. I think that's not everybody, but I think that would be voted on as the most likely outcome. So sports surprise us every year. Now, certainly the NBA is not the NFL in that sense that every year some last place team makes the playoffs and blah, blah, blah. But it does every year. There's surprise teams. So when you look at the Kings, and we've talked about this in depth, there is I wouldn't say a boatload of talent, but there is quite a bit of talent. Again, somebody said the other day that they have the most talent they've had since 2002. I think there's a really good argument there, top to bottom. Dennis Schroeder, your starting point guard, fine. But Zach LaVine, a guy who's going to score mid-20s and is capable of a lot more than that. DeMar DeRozan, low 20s. Domantas Sabonis, around 19 points. And then Keegan Murray. And on top of that, Malik Monk. Again, right now off the bench, you got a defensive stopper in Keon Ellis. You have the rookie that impressed everybody in camp, Nate Clifford. And then you'll see what happens with, I feel like Max Reno and Devin Carter are kind of free money, if you will. We're not really expecting much out of them. And if we get stuff out of them, that's awesome. Doug Christie is a sort of rookie coach. Last year you had a lot of drama with Mike Brown, a ton of drama with De'Aaron Fox. That's a huge, huge change in not just on the floor, but also culture and psychological and all the things that go with that. Doug was working with assistant coaches, no disrespect to them, but they just weren't all that. That wasn't his staff. That was just the staff that was there for Mike. Now he has a whole off season. You have a new GM, a new front office. He's got a whole camp. The roster is obviously far from perfect, but they will have that roster at the beginning to go through camp and to work together. Is there a bright side here where, I mean, Jason, I guess I'm asking, like, what is the bright side ceiling for this team?
Yeah, I don't know what that looks like record-wise or playoff-wise. Like I think you said it, maybe at the moment, the way it's constructed, seems like first round would be a ceiling to me, seems like. But the surprise that you're talking about, the surprise teams, it does happen every year.
Yes.
And I think right away, immediately, I think people, when they look at the talent of the Western Conference, I feel like most people are going to jump right to OKC, understandably. I think what Houston has set up seems to be a pretty talented team. And a lot of people would maybe put Denver up there. So if we just kind of put those three up there, the rest of the teams to me is where it can be interchangeable. Now, some might rank the Lakers and Clippers and Warriors above. That's totally fine and probably understandable. But even if we take the Beam team year, they got all the way to a 3 seed.
Yeah, they did.
Now, it wasn't a drastic difference. The Warriors were 6. I think the Kings won 2 more games than them.
Yes.
But
and there was some injury help on the outside. I mean, things happen.
Right. So I think the non-negotiable for the ceiling part of the Kings is they have to be pretty healthy.
Yes.
And so if you're pretty healthy and, you could take some stats even from last year where they had a better record under Doug Christie than Mike Brown. When Malik Monk, I remember Bobby Gerald gave us this, like when Malik Monk played, actually their record was actually pretty good.
Yeah, right.
And he missed a decent amount of games. The record wasn't good at all.
Right.
So a healthy team, you get the best of that talent that you have. I mean, I think that's when you're starting to take, best possible scenarios, but those things sometimes do happen.
They do. You catch lightning in a bottle.
Yeah. So I don't know where that ultimately would put them, but I guess my point being is, like, I thought last year Minnesota might go through some things, and maybe they did early on, but by the end they were in the conference finals.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, I don't know if I thought Minnesota was this good. Dallas the year before kind of got there and then made it to the NBA finals.
That's right.
They didn't have the best record. It just Phoenix completely fell off the map. They were supposed to be a top 8 team. They finished 12th or 11th.
We're going to have this conversation, obviously, before the season starts. And we'll have variations of this conversation throughout the rest of the couple of months. Do you know, sitting here on August 6th, what specifically, whether it's record, distance, playoff distance, what is a successful season for you?
For the Kings?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I go on what they are coming out to say. So last year, I believe one of the talking points was look to get back to the playoffs and to get to, or maybe this was 2 years ago, to advance. Like they made it the 2 seasons ago, but they wanted to be a second round team. I'm like, well, I'm going to go off of there. So it's got to be a second round team. They didn't do that.
Right.
I haven't really heard their, I think it's long-term success. Like it's more broad.
Yeah.
So I don't know what they have specifically targeted for the season. But I mean, I don't think it doesn't look like a team that's tearing it down to be a lottery team. So to me, I think you got to be in the playoffs.
It's funny. We should talk more about this. Is a longer conversation because as of right now, my definition of success for this team has almost nothing to do with the playoffs.
Really?
I would rather them, if I had a choice between them making the playoffs and losing in the first round, I would actually rather finish the year. If we were out of the playoffs, I'd still be happier if it was they've offloaded a contract or two. The young guys really look promising. Nate Clifford's, his last month of the season averaged 22 points, 8 boards, and 4 assists. And they don't make the playoffs, but you start to see, we've got a future here. We've got a little bit of money in the offseason. We've got ourselves a decent pick. Like, it's almost like, it's not that I don't want them to make the playoffs, Jason. It's saying if the choice is this is the exact same roster and I know that this is our ceiling, and great, we lost in the first round. Okay. Versus like, we didn't make the playoffs, but you can start to see something here for next year. But I imagine that's going to change 50 times between now and then. We'll take a break when we return. Let's get to some football, Jason Ross, second half of the program.